Football never sleeps, and neither do the scandals, transfers, and shocking twists that keep the beautiful game alive. Today's headlines are dominated by a bombshell at Chelsea, where the club has been hit with an extraordinary 74 accusations of violating financial fair play regulations. This comes hot on the heels of Manchester City's still unresolved 115 charges. And once again, fans are left questioning whether justice in football is truly blind or simply up for sale to the highest bidder. According to the English FA, Chelsea's alleged violations revolve around hidden agent payments and third-party involvement in transfers during the Roman Abramovich era. Big names like Eden Hazard, Willian, and even Samuel Eto'o are tied to the case. And yet, despite the massive scope of the accusations, the punishment looks set to be little more than a fine. Around 8 million, reports suggest. No transfer ban, no point deductions, no lasting consequences. Compare this to Everton, who were slapped with points deductions for far less, or Nottingham Forest, who were sanctioned for relatively minor budget missteps. Meanwhile, City, PSG, and now Chelsea appear ready to simply throw money at the problem until it disappears. For many fans, this double standard is nothing short of outrageous. Clubs with limitless wallets bend the rules, then buy their way out, while the smaller ones are hammered. These, sadly, are the realities of modern football. Elsewhere, one of the summer's most emotional transfer stories has finally come to a close. Aymeric Laporte has returned to Athletic Bilbao, the club where his professional career began. After 7 years at Manchester City and a brief spell in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr, the 31-year-old defender signed a 3-year deal valid until 2028. But it wasn't without drama. On September 1st, the deal collapsed due to a missed registration deadline on FIFA's TMS system. Only after an appeal did FIFA authorize the move. Now, Laporte is back in Bilbao, welcomed home just in time to reinforce a defense left thin by Yeri Alvarez's 10-month suspension. For Athletic fans, it's not just a signing, it's a homecoming. At Arsenal, the board is moving quickly to secure their defensive cornerstone. William Saliba has been offered a new 5-year contract, despite his current deal running until 2027. The urgency is clear. Real Madrid are circling. In Spain, they've already dubbed him the Bellingham of defenders, a sign that Los Blancos view him as a generational talent. Arsenal knows too well how costly losing him would be. His injury collapse in 2023 derailed their title charge. The club is trying to lock him down early, but unless Arteta's men can prove they're genuine title contenders, Madrid's lure may prove irresistible. In Germany, we have a correction to make. Last episode, reports linked Christian Eriksen to Bayer Leverkusen, but in a late twist, he has signed with Wolfsburg instead. The Danish playmaker inked a deal until 2027, joining a club already filled with compatriots. With 5 Danes already in the squad, Eriksen steps into familiar territory under coach Paul Simonis. At 33, this could be the final major challenge of his career. His words were telling, "This is my first Bundesliga club, and I'm ready for a new adventure." Expect him to become not just a player, but a leader in a young, ambitious side. Speaking of legends, the future of Zinedine Zidane is finally taking shape. According to El Nacional, a principal agreement has been reached with the French Football Federation. Zidane will become the national team's head coach after Didier Deschamps steps down following the 2026 World Cup. For years, Zidane resisted overtures from PSG, Bayern, Juventus, and others, holding out for Les Bleus. Now it seems his long wait is nearly over. For France, it could be the dawn of a new era, led by one of the greatest minds and feet the game has ever known. Back in England, Manchester United have finally drawn a line under the Andre Onana saga. The Cameroonian goalkeeper has officially joined Trabzonspor on loan, ending a nightmare chapter at Old Trafford. The numbers are staggering. 150 goals conceded in 102 matches, only 24 clean sheets. Once viewed as a 50 million solution from Inter, he quickly became a symbol of chaos. Now, with Trabzonspor covering his salary and even adding bonuses, United can breathe again. For Onana, it's a second chance to reset before the African Cup of Nations. But for United, it feels like liberation. Over at Arsenal, Gabriel Martinelli's future looks increasingly uncertain. Once valued at $85 million, his price has already fallen to around $55 million. With no goals or assists this season and stiff competition from Ebereki Eze and Noni Madueke, he has slipped down Arteta's pecking order. Bayern Munich and Saudi clubs showed interest in the summer, but didn't meet Arsenal's asking price. Now time is running out. If Martinelli doesn't rebound by 2026, when only a year remains on his contract, his value could collapse further. Arsenal risk missing their window to sell at peak value, another case of poor timing in the transfer market. Another intriguing move comes from Nottingham Forest, who landed Douglas Luiz on loan from Juventus. But the fine print makes it more than just a temporary stay. The buyout clause becomes mandatory if Luiz plays 15 matches of at least 45 minutes each. If triggered, Forest will pay $25 million plus bonuses, with the Brazilian signing until 2030. For Luiz, who was sidelined in Turin, this could be a chance to reignite his career in the Premier League. Meanwhile, Lamine Yamal continues his meteoric rise. The Barcelona teenager has been crowned La Liga Player of the Season 2024-25 after registering 9 goals and 13 assists in 35 matches. At just 17, he is not only Barca's most valuable asset, but has also been declared the world's most valuable player by Transfermarkt. His combination of flair, end product, and maturity sets him apart, and this award confirms what many already knew. He is the new face of Spanish football. Elsewhere in Serie A, Inter Milan are pushing again for Manu Kone, Roma's midfield engine. The French international is considered unsellable by Roma, but financial fair play is tightening its grip. The Giallorossi must raise around $90 million by June 2026, meaning their resistance may soon weaken. Inter already tried with a $40 million bid in the summer, and they are expected to return with another approach. For Roma, it's a battle between keeping their star and meeting financial demands. Finally, in Portugal, one of the most romantic transfer stories of all may soon unfold. Bernardo Silva could return to Benfica, the club of his childhood, as early as January 2026. Presidential candidate João Noronha Lopes has made Silva's signing the centerpiece of his campaign. The Manchester City midfielder, out of contract in 2026, can begin negotiating with other clubs from January. Lopes has already held talks, calling Silva the embodiment of a winning culture and a true Benfiquista. Should Lopes win Benfica's elections this October, the move could be set in motion, either as a cut-price January signing or as a free agent in the summer. From Chelsea's financial scandal to Zidane's impending national team coronation, from Laporte's emotional return to Bilbao to Bernardo Silva's possible homecoming in Lisbon, football once again proves it is not just a sport, but a theater of power, money, and dreams. Some clubs bend the rules, others fight to survive, and players continue to chase both glory and belonging. The game goes on, and so do the stories that define it.